Okay. YouTube, you have some explaining to do. I am so sorry. I had to start a new stream, where normally I can go into the dashboard, grab the stream key, link it up to my software that I will be coming through on, and we can go from there. It was not allowing for that to happen. Ah, so we're going to give it a little time for people to be able to see that it's a new stream. Name is the same. The content is the same. Everything is the same. So, of what we're going to talk about clearing and up confusion, and of the last stream. I need to close down some of this software that I have open, and now that I've got this figured out, I'm going to go ahead and open up the phones while people try to figure out what the heck happened. Apparently, they make these changes on us, and where we once knew we could just set up an event and then go into the black dashboard, grab the streamer key, and then put it into the software, because I change it each time. They've changed all that, and it's not easy to get around right now. So, okay, so we'll give people a chance to figure out where the heck we're at, and that it had to be an entire new stream. In the meantime, I'll turn the phones on, and set that all up so we're ready when we get to that portion, and go from there. I am so deeply sorry that I am so late. Again, I hope there's not commercials in the beginning of this, which there probably is, because people are probably all tied up watching freaking commercials. Oh. And I still need to figure that out and get to that. But anywho, I'm here. And just know now that next time, grab the streamer key and put it into my software as I set up the event, instead of having to confuse people. They change things on us all the time. It just happens that way. It just works that way. So, in the meantime, I wanted to, of course, this is Wednesday night call-in. Okay, number one, and I want to clear up confusion that has transpired from the last stream. Hold on a second, guys. From the last stream, what I have received from feedback, and from people on what I was seeing and what they were hearing is heartbreaking. It is heartbreaking, because, okay, number one, yeah, I was emotional. That's my mistake, to be emotionally vested, and have an emotional response because of everything that's transpired and stuff. But it truly wasn't to shine the light on that. It was truly just, it was to shine a light on some possible hypocrisy that about the wrapper of where the message of truth comes from. It wasn't to hurt, harm, and my intentions were never to hurt, harm, cause malice to anyone. And anybody that's been here with me for a while knows I do not talk about other channels unless I have something good to say. With that being said, that was an anomaly in itself for me to give you guys the entire testimony of the experience and things that were going on in the background, and trusting everybody to, be adult about it, and make up their own mind. I don't want to be picking people's friends. That's not my place. It's not my place to make judgments on others. It's not my place to I'm not trying to sway you into thinking or believing or anything, that anything that's presented here is it's testimonies, it's experiences, and to explore within for yourself, that everything that you need is within in you, to come seek within. So that was an anomaly in itself for me to call out a channel that has basically called me something, and to see that when it was so obvious that a man who shares such phenomenal experiences was accepted, and then when a female talks about it, we're painted in a different light. It's like, oh my gosh, have we not gotten past that? Yeah, I was emotional. I had an emotional response. Somebody that I care dearly about is hurt, and when you hurt somebody I care dearly about, I have an emotional response. Come on, guys, we're here together, going through this, navigating the best way that we can. In the meantime, some of the things that transpire, some of the things that come into our awareness, and some as we grow and we glean, and from each of us, all of us, we glean and grow from one another. It is difficult when we are seeing things, experiencing things, and of course we want to each experience them for ourselves, that when we say things that maybe people aren't, you're not mind readers, and I shouldn't think that you're automatically hearing or picking up what I'm laying down when I'm sharing things. So tonight I want to make it about clarification on that stream that I did about reconnecting, because there was information in that stream that we talked about the oil that comes from our brain and radiates down our spine and then shoots back up. That shortly after, I got an affirmation that this information is actually out there and has some information and backing behind it, which was like a huge affirmation. And I made that video about that after that, giving you guys source information for you to look into for yourself. Because this, if anything, this is something that we explore within ourselves. It's a narrow path. We're the only ones on it. Some of the other things, that I brought up that were brought to my attention that were misunderstood is when I talked a little bit about moderators. When I'm talking about moderators, I'm talking about the difficulty level of being a moderator, and especially if you're a moderator on several different platforms, each platform having their own house rules, and to be a moderator trying to follow each person's house rules, the difficulty level for a moderator just goes that much higher. When I visit another house or another platform, and if I am doing something that is breaking that house rule, it is the job of that moderator to do what they need to do. Period. I don't have any say-so over that. That's between the moderator, the platform, and me being over there as an observer. And if I say something that is wrong or cruel or distasteful towards another, or attacking, or whatever the house rules are there, that moderator will do their job. But it has nothing to do with anybody using their wrench tools on another platform in compliance with the platform. And I don't have any say-so over any place else. And it was, if anything, was to lift up those who do the moderating for us to look from a different perspective of the difficulty level that these people have on not only getting to know the platforms they're moderating on, but also, to pay attention to the chat and to be able to follow those house rules and take the action that is needed and done. So I want to clear that up right now. It's respect for the ranch holders and the difficulty level that they face with different houses that they moderate in and the house rules. So something else that was brought into my awareness since that stream was about talking about other platforms, and I want to bring in and we're going to talk a little bit more about frequency, vibration, and thoughts and speak, and how as we are becoming more aware, we become more aware that our voice, our frequency, our thoughts, our intentions, they rob or harm somebody's spiritual, emotional, and physical well-being. And that's why it is so important for us to take into captivity thoughts and bridle our tongue and be careful what we're putting out there. Because I went through such a thing, and I did say something to somebody about, don't even mention me. It was like I just wanted to kind of hide from that, to recover. People do not understand by the frequency vibration that we emit out what that is doing to another. And as we become more aware of these things, how we then get that understanding of what we say, our vibrations, our intentions, how it affects. I gave the example of the apostles. As you know, my background, I was raised Christian. The apostles with the couple who was joining, they were doing communal living. And the couple came in, they sold their house to join with the apostles, but they withheld some of the funds. And when they came to the apostles said, did you sell your home? Yes. They talked to the husband first. He says, yes. And is this all the proceeds? Yes. And the apostles said, you can't lie to the spirit. And he was carried away dead. Okay? This is in the Bible. Look for it yourself. Then the wife came in. They questioned him separately. He said, did you sell your house? Yes. Is this all the proceeds? Yes. And again, she was carried away lifeless. All right? So no, this is for us to get an understanding of what happens when we go out and sow discord or harm or gossiping, backbiting, or hurting another. What are you doing with your vibration and frequency? You're responsible for that, and you'll be held accountable. Don't think that things don't come back around. And I completely understood, because where I was at when I was brought up on that other platform, that it was like I was being robbed. You feel it within when somebody is doing such things to you. And I want to try to clear the air here. It was not to cause any harm. And I want to address that, anybody that is bashing, gossiping, or saying things that are, number one, mainly untrue. Most of them are untrue. And number two, that are malicious against another. To understand what you're doing. Take some responsibility for what you're sowing out there. And that's why I'm here tonight. Because if I pull that live stream down, the gold that was in there will be removed. If we can't get this, settled tonight, then I'm going to remove it. But then it'll make the video follow-up not make any sense either. Another thing I want to talk about is people are finding that we had to start a new stream. That's great. Another thing I want to talk about is in the Bible, it talks about, when we brought this up the other day, the 5 wise virgins and the 5 foolish. Okay? The 5 wise had oil to continue. The 5 foolish expended theirs out. And the 5 wise told him to go to those who sell. These people, many people, are putting out precious information that we can all glean, grow, and expand for free. It's by voluntary donation to contribute to the work and the expenses we incur to put out this information. It's also in the scripture that it will be, we will face a famine. Not a famine for food and water, but a famine for hearing, not reading, but for hearing the Word of God. What will happen when we are attacking the messengers to the point where it's costing them their very health and well-being? And we all just go, stop. We stop sharing and expanding and growing and gleaning from one another. We reserve our oil, and that will take care of that. It doesn't say from reading in the Bible. It says hearing through frequency, sharing freely. And these people are putting themselves out there freely to share such amazing, outstanding information. It doesn't cost you a nickel. You can glean, grow, and pop into this beautiful acknowledgement of your identity, your true identity. But one of the things that when we come into the awareness of our identity, is taking responsibility for everything that we have spoke, every idle word, threat, everything that's demeaning or stealing life essence through our frequency from another. Now, my intentions for that stream was to shine a light of hypocrisy. And are we judging on the wrapper, what we're born? If I'm born a female and I'm saying the same things as a male is sharing, but it's okay for the male, but it's not okay for me. Now, I am a Jezebel, or I am a devil or Satan, and have this, campaign launched against me without a cause, just because I'm female. That was the point of it, was to point out something that is so transparent. And yeah, I'm gonna admit I was emotional about it, because a dear friend of mine was caught in the crossfire of this, and that was my mistake. So the phones are open now. And I talked about the difference between, another thing I want to address before I open the phones, because I want you to tell me what it is that you heard. It's almost like this Laurel Yanni, a thing of what we heard, the message that I was trying to share, and what people received was, I was set back by it. I was like, oh my gosh, wow, okay, hold on a second here. But when I was talking about the conference from the year before, I was talking about when you get a group of people together who are awakened, who see. I was talking about the phenomenal, off the charts, paranormal, where it seems to be naturally supernatural now. The things that were transpiring as these people were gathered in one place, up to and including bilocation, up to and including Suso with Kimberly, and that wisher washer, manifestations, the magic they all experienced by coming together. And when I was talking about when he shared that for us, it transcended through the screen the magic that was going on there. Nothing else. except for when they were all together in close proximity, how that just transpired. And the thing that I can compare it to is Iseti. When we were together, gathered, oh my goodness, the things that happened there were, that we would call it paranormal, but it seems like that place is naturally supernatural there. It's a thin spot already, and to gather so many who are awakened or their heart is open, the things we've seen, you can't, oh my gosh, miracle or magic. Let's not worry about the labels. It was what we got to witness, experience as we came together. That was what I was trying to liken that to when I brought that up. Nothing else. And then, of course, got into the message about how, our bodies are created so perfectly. Nothing is left out for us to connect to the divine and to have that radiating through and through. But it is always an inside job. It's something we have to do for ourselves. We have to be the ones that make that connection. Another term, and I just did a stream about remembering our beginnings. People that have been with me for a while know that when I say leave things or let go of things that no longer serve, they know and they understand that I'm talking about old knowledge or things that we learned that we never spiritually developed or grew from. That and it's hard. It is hard sometimes to let go of things that we once, thought to be true, and to let go of that and allow the truth to come and fill and flood and flow. It is difficult. And as for when I talk about walking away from an individual, I mean when they are oppressing, suppressing, harming, or causing harm to you. You don't have to sit there and try and argue your point. You don't have to try to defend yourself in your position. A lot of times it's easier to just walk, still loving them, knowing who they are, but walking away in peace, not subjecting yourself to oppression or anything that's going to stifle your freedom to express your divineness within you. So I hope by clearing up some of those terms that we use here a lot on this platform, and also that I want you guys to call in, because I am owning and going to put out my intention of what I was trying to say. I want you guys to tell me how it made you feel and what I need to do to make things cleaner, to make things clearer. And now, number one, I know that an emotional response was not good. I know that. I've already got that. But to see that it was so in my face, that is it really just the wrapper of delivery? Is it really just that? My gosh, I thought we were so far beyond that, and it's heartbreaking. And the people who have come to me and brought these things up, I value what they say. I value everything about them. I value everybody. Actually, I do. I mean, oh my gosh. Some of us are in identity crisis. Some of us are knowing who we are. And so when we think about on these things and we're sharing, we're talking, if my intentions were not clear and it caused confusion, let's try and sort this out. Okay, I'm going to pull the phone number up. The phone is open. Hold on a second. And as you come in, as you guys know, stay on mute till I call out. It can hold up to 5 calls. Mute the show in the background so you can still participate in chat if you'd like. I ask that you use clean language and just ask anything that may have been misconstrued from that stream, because I would like to leave it up for the information in the affirmation video that came after. But if it's caused such division, and I can understand this, because when we are speaking, we're speaking, and it is harming somebody's spiritual essence, robbing them of their very essence, their life, their being, through our frequency, through our thoughts. That's why after we learn this about ourselves, we even take our thoughts into captivity, because although they don't send out as powerful of as our voice frequency does, our thoughts do send out frequency. And when we're harming another, that's the last thing I ever want to do. Oh my gosh! But when you are harmed or are in what is like a spiritual battle, when you're being mistreated or things are going on in the background, and you're being robbed, it's like it makes things very confusing. It really does, because the life essence from that divine being is being stripped away. Where we should be building each other up, we should be talking to one another with respect and in love. So, okay, phones are open, numbers up. I'm going to pull myself down so I could turn the light off because it's a little warm. And then we'll continue talking. But I want you guys to call, and talk to me about anything that was misconstrued, even the things that I have talked about and shared. Let's air this out. Let's get this out in the open. And again, maybe this will help create some awareness on people that maybe they don't know what they're doing when they are speaking and sending thoughts and things like that directed at another group, or divide with division or anything like that. Why we need to be reasonable. There's ways of talking with each other that doesn't have to be harmful. We can agree to disagree. Nobody is saying you have to think like me. Nobody's saying you need to walk, talk, think, be, follow. None of that. But we can agree to disagree with love in our heart, not robbing the very divine essence away from somebody else's life, their essence, their spiritual, divine, sovereign, which will then manifest physically for them. So let's clear it up, guys. Let's clear it up. I have pulled back on even reading messages and things like that, except for from people that I've known for years. And that's why I'm doing this tonight, because of the misunderstandings and things like that. The intentions were, I was like, my mind is blown. My mind is just blown by what was construed. But in the meantime, there's still gold. There's still gold in there, talking about that, the oil, or actually when I found that affirmation article, it was talking about milk and honey. The pituitary and the pineal is the land of milk and honey. Now, I have not had a chance to, and I want to go watch some of this man's work, but I stumbled across that right after we were talking about this. And I said, with my husband and I, what we did was we fasted, we prayed in private, and we came into agreement about, the abstaining. And bam, we had something profound happen. I had no idea that from that site, which I read from the video after, about sun and moon and monthly, that you have 12 chances a year each month, and all of that. It's like off the hook phenomenal affirmation of what we shared together on that live stream. In the meantime, some confusion ensued, and I want this I want it sorted out, and I want to be held accountable. I want to be held accountable for what I said. And I also want the opportunity to, correct, improve, and be clearer in what I'm saying, and not assume that people are just understanding and and also to discuss things that happened in that stream, that that I got report back that different things were picked up by different people, and give me the chance to explain where my heart was, and I want you to tell me exactly what you got from it, so I can figure it out. So phones are open. There's the phone number in the pin. Conference is open, and please, let's clear the air. If nobody calls, how are we going to ever clear the air? And it looks like there's seven of us that have found that I had to start a new stream. And hello Grace, and hello that GPK. It's 9. So let's do this. Let's rock. Let's call me to the carpet on that stream. Do it. Let's do this. Let's do this. We can move past this, and keep going. And remember, like I said, if you want to look in your scripture, it does say there will be a famine in the land. It'll be from hearing the word of God, word of truth. It's not that people are saying they're God. It is people that are speaking truth that will resonate and radiate and help, and lifting one another up will be quiet. They'll stop, because is it worth having your essence robbed, be judged, or put on into such a light where people are doing these things? Is it worth it to that person to share such beautiful truths from their heart? Whether you resonate with it now or not, you may later. It happens for each of us at different times, different ways. But in the meantime, sometimes people in confusion don't know that they're at, because I say, whether you're aware or not, these gifts are already operating. And the more aware of them, the more pointed, the more focus you can have in your intention and your frequency. And the more about yourself, and the connection that you have of being reconnected, if you feel it is a reconnection, losing all labels and things like that. But we need to understand what we're putting out, what the frequency is, and what it can do in what we would think is the invisible realm to another, and how we need to make sure, even myself, that I'm careful. I'm going to put some music on for a moment for you guys to listen to. Let me just step away just for a second, but you can still call, because this is like a few seconds behind, because I want to give people time to think about what I'm saying, and about and I'm talking about the stream of the reconnecting our reconnection, and how important it is to know this about ourselves, and where we go, and all that good stuff from there. And by knowing this about ourselves, we will be more careful about how we express, and like I said, any misunderstandings from that stream. Anybody that got something from it that they felt violated in any way, let's talk about it. Or even if you want to share experiences, call for whatever purpose. But I really want to set the record straight on my intentions. Please, give me the chance. Sorry about that. It would be nice if I actually turned it on so you could hear it. My bad. Enjoy. waiting for anyone, to call in and either share experiences, grievances, confusion, or anything of that manner. I wanted to talk a little bit about a few of us are trying to plan a gathering in Sedona. So the dates are not concrete yet, but we're looking at either end of September, early October, and I'm just going to put this information out. We'll talk more about it when we get more firmed up, but we're wanting to see who's interested in coming, try to get a head count, to contact and get a group rate, discount rate on the hotel, along with, to look at the location. There's vortexes, there's sacred sites, and to what would you be interested in, so we can have the hotel within, close proximity to the things that we're interested in. Now there's 4 vortexes that's located all through Sedona. So pretty much whatever sacred site or whatever other activity that most of us are interested in will be close to a vortex, which I want to go to. I definitely want to go check out a vortex. Yeah, and being at Isetti and it being a thin spot, and these sacred sites and things like that. Sedona is a thin spot, has many different phenomena, and oh my goodness, you can feel the difference when we drove in from Flagstaff. I know I'm bird walking, but I'm just waiting for someone to call too. When my husband and I were going out to Oklahoma, we stopped and stayed in Flagstaff, and when we drove out and we stopped in Flagstaff, we went to the Grand Canyon on the way out, and on the way back we stopped in Flagstaff and we went down into Sedona. When we were driving from Flagstaff down into Sedona, it was like dry desert, and then all of a sudden foliage, beauty, this river. There's a river with that actually has a perfectly hewed out natural rock water slides in it. I mean, the place is gorgeous. It was like, whoa, did we just go through a portal to come here? It reminds me of the experience that I've shared here about Pyramid Lake, where when I drove down to my parents, the lake was low and it was all dry, and everything was like brown. And then when I drove back and passed Pyramid Lake, it's now the water is at level. It's beautiful. The foliage and it has never flipped back to being. And we were hearing that we were in a drought. And I like to question everything, test everything, and that place changed, and it is maintained since it went from dry and a low river, or low lake. You know how you can see that white calcium looking around the edge, so you can tell how far the water has dropped down? It had that on the way down to my parents. And then when I was on the way back, it was filled. The lake is filled, and it was all green. And, I can only, compare that to a shift, what we call shifting, what we call, moving into different realms. I don't know. It's amazing. But yeah, so Pyramid Lake, I watched that place change, and that's the only thing, that I can closely kind of tie that to is watching from driving in from Flagstaff and then into Sedona, driving down to my parents' house, seeing it all dry and brown and the lake bed low, then to drive in when I was driving back home, that the lake bed was level, the water was beautiful, and it was all green and flowers. And I mean, that's what it felt like for us when we drove down into Sedona on our way back from visiting relatives in Oklahoma. It was phenomenal. Even the energy changed, the lightness. Now, I did pick up some intense in between my eyes at that time, now we're talking years and years ago when we went down there. It's been quite a while since I've been to Sedona, and I had like it felt like, like a point stabbing between my eyes. But that was when we were in the shop area. They have like a strip with a bunch of shops, and they sell all kinds of different things, and there's restaurants and stuff like that there. It's a beautiful place, but when I was around a bunch of people and stuff, I had this horrible between my eyes headache, to the point that my husband had to take me aside, away from the crowds, to get some peace with that. So I understand energetic sensitivities, as we all have these different sensitivities to different frequencies and energies. So I get it. I mean, but there could be areas of Sedona where you just like flow and feel light-footed, or I mean, I don't know. It was. I only had the problem when we were on the shopping area with that stabbing pain between my eyes, and I have to say, it was miserable. It was miserable. Now, the entire time we were in Sedona, it was like that. I would not want to go back because it was that intense. So and I know there's so many of us that are energetically sensitive, and we need to do what we're comfortable with. But that is something that we're looking into. So. And it's not like a wake and activate event. It is a gathering of, it'll probably be announced on several different platforms of anybody who wants to come, so we can get a head count once we sure up the date, and so we can try and get a discounted rate and we're looking at some of the things that we're looking at. I'll just discuss this while we're waiting. Is personally, I'm looking for a swimming pool. So even if we don't want to go swimming, but there is an area there that we can all kind of congregate to, whether it be around the swimming pool, whatever, if we want to visit, share pictures, because that's one of the things that we did when we were at Iseti. There was a fire pit, and we gathered around that, and we were sharing amazing phenomena that we actually captured, with our cell phones or cameras. And so, looking for a swimming pool, and also breakfast. So we don't have to worry about going out and paying for all of these meals. So breakfast provided. And I have to say, I was pretty shocked that it's really a lot less expensive than I thought. If we were to stay in Flagstaff, we could save a little bit of money, but from driving in and out each day to whatever it is, whatever activity it is that we're choosing to do, would cost us more than actually staying in Sedona and having some of the places we want to visit there walkable, so we can park our car and just walk over to it. So that's just a little announcement of some things that are being worked on. And it's not a conference. It's not anything like that. It's just a gathering, like we did in Iseti. It's not anything formal, but of course, and there's so many people that know like different stretches or different techniques or meditations that we can. So I wouldn't put it out of the realm of possibility that somebody may come up and want to teach. And of course, everything's voluntary whether you want to attend it, because James Gillian did that for us when we were at Iseti. He decided, okay, well, I'm going to teach this out on the lawn, and that's where those purple arcs showed up in the sky all the way to the ground, and they got pictures of that. And then he did a display where my husband caught those amazing images of people's faces were blurred like we were spinning, and then they were underneath this triangle, and they were there, but they had like a color around them. And I mean, these phenomena, when we come together, just are, oh my goodness, especially with the intentions, the focus, the understanding that we have, and the click on of awareness. It's just off the charts. So that's something you guys think think on that. What would fit your schedule, the distance, look at the map if you're interested in coming, and what it is that you would like to visit, and we'll see where everything falls. And again, like I said, it's not going to be, oh, we're all together, we all go into the same places. It's not. It's you're free to go anywhere. It's just a matter of trying to get a discounted rate for us, and we can gather it sometimes and swap stories and pictures and all of that stuff. But it's a free flowing event, like he said he was. Everybody went and did the things that they wanted to do, and everybody. I don't know anybody that came from our group that did not have some kind of a phenomenal, but what is known as paranormal experience, up to and including Bigfoot. Somebody actually, I think they saw a family of 9 Bigfoot. Now, it wasn't me, that's somebody else's testimony, but I'm saying there was nothing off limits there. Everything that was possible. I mean, it was just off the charts. And same with the first conference, they had so many what would be called paranormal, or these things that were transpiring, that it's just, when you get a group of us together, there's no telling, limitless, just absolutely limitless. Lose the labels, allow it to flow in the experience, and oh my gosh, it's off the charts. And not only that, we get to know each other in real life. And once you meet somebody in real life and you've hugged them and spent time with them, it enhances our relationship to a level that it's wonderful. It's wonderful. So, is anybody wanting to call, or did I pretty much air the misunderstandings? I don't want to receive emails or messages after that I didn't handle this. Especially, I've got my heart is locked onto one individual in particular, and I want to make sure that all is clear with that individual, because I understand it. I understand, all the confusion that is going on. I understand putting yourself out there and just being trodden on, and we need to be careful and be mindful of that. Be mindful, of what we do to one another, our thoughts, what we speak, what we do, and to express the highest good for each other, even if, like I said, even if we have to walk away from somebody who may have done some things that you walk away in peace. You don't want harm or anything to befall anybody, ever. Do you think I want to be responsible for snatching the very life essence from somebody else's divine expression of their unique beauty? Oh my gosh. Once you know this, once you know that this is within you, that you have this, you're operating in this, whether you're aware of it or not, don't you think that you would then reevaluate everything you say and do to make sure that there is no misunderstandings? It's not a better than, less than. It's never been a better than, less than. If anything that I've learned, we learn daily from one another, is this is one of the biggest, greatest equalizers that I have ever seen, is in the Mandela effect itself. It crossed every country, every border, everything that we as people, as man, from our perspective, would think would separate us. Whether it be religion, political party, country, culture, skin color, or even male, female. It crossed every single boundary or border that anything that we could have kind of confused within our mind. And I think that is off the charts amazing in itself. Let alone where we grow to from there, where we've seen. And of course, I expressed how happy I was, that people started talking about such phenomena, because it, to me, was like, oh my gosh, honey, look, we're not alone. We're not alone. Because who can you talk to about some things that maybe they won't understand? They won't understand what we're going through. And then to have such an event like this transpire in 2015 and people pop up and start talking about it, I had such a peace that it just washed over me that, oh my goodness gracious, there's so many people that are, are having this awareness within them. So that's what that meant to be, plus, crossing any boundary, border, or anything that we would think would divide. My goodness, there's not even anybody chatting. Is everybody that afraid? Really? Come on. I'm not scary. And if you call, I will not, you can give a pseudo name or whatever. I will not tell who you are or any information about you. Let's clear it up. And I know that this is, since YouTube did their change, I don't know, to come on and get that stream key. Because I know that probably caused confusion too. So, and I apologize about that. We learn and we learn daily. And just like software updates, as soon as we think we got it, they change it again. I'm only going to stay on for just a little bit longer. I'll keep this one at an hour. Maybe I addressed everything. I don't know. But I did want to give people the opportunity to, call me to the carpet on anything that was said. Because I would really like to leave that one up for what was in there, what we talked about, what was shared, and then that affirmation. And then I was able to make that video affirming it right after. But if not, if there's still going to be confusion or people not, understanding what was actually what I was trying to relate, I'll do what is necessary, what is right, to make sure that it's not violating anyone or causing anyone any grief in any way, such because that was not the purpose. That was completely not the purpose. So, well, reality for some is different for others. Yes, ma'am. That's so true. I mean, what we experience, what paradigm that we're in, what we are expanding into, is different and unique for each of us. So, with that, how can we say? I'm not going to postulate myself as saying that follow me, I know the right way. Come on. If anything, what it does is it broadens out our awareness and our understanding and our uniqueness, and allowing ourselves to open our mind to be more inclusive of the beauty of what people are sharing, so we can growing. And if we have a difference of a perspective or difference of we can call, or we can talk about them in private and discuss, and it's okay to walk away from something of when you have a conversation, to agree to disagree, but keep the relationship, keep the friendship, that respecting each other, respecting each other's path, journey, sovereignty, divinity, beauty, manifestation, and experience, expression. It's just we're all learning. We're coming out of an old paradigm, an old way, into that new song. The Bible. I've often said, I was raised up with Christianity, but I still read my Bible. I know it's changed. I know there's words in there that were not there before. I've witnessed my personal physical Bible change from when I read it from one night to pick up, the next day to read on. That a part where I left off, I would always go back and read a few verses, get into the flow, and then continue on. And it changed my physical Bible in my hand. So we can't say it's a digital thing, or it's CGI, or it's an internet thing. It was in my hand. And so, there's not anybody that's going to be able to tell me that it's confabulation or it's in my head when, or it's through a computer or anything like that, when my physical material book changed in my hand. So it's just, and it would be like trying to convince somebody else that their experience that they share is not true and authentic. What? How dare we? We don't have the right. We don't know. Were you there? I mean, did you experience it with them? We can't do that to one another. That's where the trust comes in. That's where the, authenticity comes in. And these people that I know, and I've known them for years. I mean, and some I've met in person. And, I agree. I'm guilty. I had an emotional response. I put up that I was going to go live. I took it down after I seen what I saw. And then I was like, never mind, because it had been bothering me for so long that, like chastening, that, okay, maybe it just needs a light shined on it, so that way it can be seen for what it is, so we can all rethink, if it's something that simple, rethink our position on how we treat one another. But there was an emotional part of that, that I brought in that I shouldn't have. And that was my bad. And that may have been what was spilling out through the intentions of what I was trying to share. Hey, Suso. Saw you were on, girl, but I'm heading to bed. Just thought I'd say hello. Hey, Michelle. Love what you're saying. Thank you, Suso. Thank you. And, I appreciate the things that Suso shares, the experiences that he shares. And that, when he says he experiences something, I believe him. Why should I doubt it? I've experienced some off the chain similar experiences that he has. They're not exactly identical, but my conundrum is, it's okay for him, but not for me. And why would it be that way? And it's I came to the conclusion, again, throwing it out as for you guys to think about and give feedback on. Is it the rapper? Is it because I'm female? I don't know. What do you guys think? Mandela effect by timeline changed my new reality. Yeah, we call them shifts, paradigm shifts. And maybe is that what I experienced when I drove down to my folks and saw that lake bed by Pyramid Lake low and it was all dried up? And then did I shift when I came back and the lake bed was full and it was all green and full of foliage? Are we shifting in and out of different realms? Is it our awareness, or is it an awakening to our true identity and therefore creating heaven on earth? This can be looked at from many different perspectives. None being wrong. It's all in a matter of what is palatable for you to continue to press and explore and experience and flow. It's not that anything is right or wrong. I say let go of things that no longer serve, and I'm talking about anything that's withholding your spiritual development of your true authentic identity. Who are you? Who are we to one another? What are we able to do? Through our voice, through our frequency, through speaking and our thoughts and our heart. Are we stealing the essence of somebody else's sovereignty, beauty, right to express and share what they're observing and experiencing because we don't agree with it? So we're using our voice. Maybe we're ignorant to it. But pretty soon, there's not going to be any possibility of ignorance because the information or the experiences that everybody is sharing, even from all perspectives. Everything has facets. Everything will beam light into multiple directions, even as unique as each of us are. Just imagine the facets of what the light is that beams out of you. Liken it to a crystal with many facets. The light's shot in, and then rainbow colors are shot out in every different direction of just one person. Got over 7 billion beings shining out in that, regard. Oh my goodness gracious. What an amazing analogy that is. Okay, we got a thumbs down. Call me and tell me what it is that I said that has confounded you or upset you. I will not give away any of your personal information. I will not. You will call, and as long as, don't, just keep the language good and like PG, PG language, and tell me where I'm wrong in what I'm sharing, or my perception, or my observation. I'm open. I'm open. And again, I did share Suso's book, Mind Beyond Matter. I think you can get it on Amazon. And we talked about the Mandela effect, friend or foe. I haven't read that one yet. I need to go ahead and get that one so I can read it. And that one has several authors in it. I think that one can be found on Amazon. I'm not sure. I need to get the links for where these books, a lot of people have written these amazing books for us to be able to read, and see from their perspective, try to put ourselves in their shoes, and see from how they're experiencing and going through, from their eyes. When, even when you look at a piece of art, for example, when you gaze upon a piece of art, at least this is from I'm owning this, my perspective. When I gaze at a piece of art, I want to deeply go into it. I want to try and see what was possibly the artist was emotionally trying to express in this beautiful art that they are displaying. I want to try and see as much of the beauty that is portrayed in that art from that artist. That's an example. And again, with the when people write books, that's an art form. Writing a book is an art form, to be able to put into a legible, followable, chain of words and events, to make it so we can read it and follow along. That's an art and a gift and a talent all at the same time. And to put ourselves into the shoes of whom is writing it, from their observation, what they're perceiving, is being able to shift in and out with them, and see from other people's perspectives, points of view, with the beauty from it. And also the awareness of, and I want to, I'm trying not to name channels tonight, but the radio show tonight was off the charts confirmation from, I know this individual, and I'm not going to use channel names, I'm just not, but they, not tonight, not with what I'm doing here, but this person that, I've known this person for years. They are a researcher. They are they want science and research of the paranormal, and the show was, oh my goodness, and it spoke on frequency, it spoke on sounds, and it spoke on these the ability of possibly moving these megalithic stones with frequency and vibration, and also what frequency, vibration from sound, or even thoughts, I'm adding thoughts, can do and the power that is within, and what it can do to even each of us, and why we need to be so careful. And Mandela Mile, hi, how are you doing this evening? Phones are open, guys. Give you guys a few more minutes, and since it got a thumbs down, I would really like for the person to that thumbed it down to call me, tell me where I've confounded or confused or excluded or whatever it is that you're not agreeing with. It doesn't matter. And you guys, you can also call and share experiences on. Well, I've been trying to do a regular Wednesday night call-in show. Anyways, because the more we get to know each other, the more that we share with one another, the more we can expand in our awareness and in our identity, and also learn a new, instead of separating and gapping, but learning to accept even with differences without harming one another. Be able to talk about things that we don't necessarily agree with, but you can resonate with 10 things that somebody's being sharing, and then there's one thing that maybe you don't, maybe you're not in lockstep, but what, you can glean, you still glean. And why should that one thing that we don't agree on separate? Why? I mean, we shouldn't be doing that. This is a time of restoration. This is a time, of our identity being revealed to us. Oh, my goodness. Many have waited and wanted to be living in a time such as this. And here we are. We're in the thick of it. We're in it. We're going through it. I do think that in the past that there has been certain individual sprout ups of this awareness, but not like what we're going through in the here and now. And if anything, I'm going to go back to the Mandela effect. The Mandela effect, by it crossing any kind of a label boundary box, how it crossed everything, and how many people actually see these phenomenal changes, shows that it's not, one here, one there. So many of us are going through this, and to go through it together, lifting each other up out of any confusion and anything, and accepting and just accepting each other for who we are. And again, I'm going to reiterate that I choose for myself. I will walk away in peace from somebody who's trying to subject or to oppress or to violate or cause harm to my being. That's my choice. You all can make your own choices with your own discernment. So that's my choice. I don't want any harm to come to anybody. That's not in my heart. We know, many of us know, and I just love that radio show because I know he looked into the science of it and the research behind it. He doesn't just put things out just to put things out. He doesn't just talk about like I hear talk about experience. It's a little more open-ended, where this individual will do research and facts and science and wants some backup. And he put out that just this evening on that radio show, and it's off the charts, about our voice, our frequency, our sound. And we get our heart and our mind into one, and then we speak in our voice. We don't want to harm anybody. It's not in us. I'm great. Thanks for asking. Frequency would explain the earthquakes. Oh, wow. Wow. Around your property only? Really? Wow. Well, and like I said, you can call and share experiences and what's going on with you, around you, or in your your area, what you're experiencing, or let's try and clear the air on anything that was misconstrued as anything other than what I'm trying to clear up tonight. That's what it, really wasn't planning on coming on live. And I am going to, I'm thinning back where I'm visiting now. And that is only because I want those others to get bored. Stop trying to find me and harass places where I go. And, because they'll get bored and they'll go away. But in the meantime, I got that going on in the background. And, I got called out for not, I got called to the carpet basically on that one for not talking about it and, bringing it to the awareness of my friends on what's going on there, because, they would have been there for me 100%, not to create harm or havoc for anybody else, but to be there as a good friend, as a support system, as a hedging up, lifting up, So I got called to the carpet by a good friend about that. Now, mind you, I've sought counsel because this has been going on far too long. I have sought counsel from a few people who I value their directness and their opinions, their thoughts, and their unbiasedness. And able just to call, say what's on their heart, say what's on their mind and what's going on, and so I did do that. I sought counsel, but I never made it an open thing, because, and then that's my bad too. I made a mistake there, and I finally let that cat out of the bag the other day, because I was not trusting people to be kind, and that's not my right. I don't have that right. If I'm going to share experiences, I need to share from beginning to end. I don't need to leave you guys in any kind of confusion, because that's not right. That's not right. That's not fair. So either I don't share the experience at all, or I share it in its entirety. That's the lesson that I've learned about that, is either I share it completely with you guys, or I don't even open my mouth about it. So I am growing, from the observations that others are pointing out. We grow, all of us, together. None of these people who have come and talked to me about the confusion from that stream came at me they didn't come at me in a judgmental way. It was directed in love. And normally I would not accept somebody new into my awareness, or what they were laying down, but I followed my intuition on that one, and I'm glad I did, because there was a treasure trove of things that were being perceived that, when you're new to a platform, I don't think anybody's going to go back and watch 500 plus videos. When we have platforms, we shouldn't expect for anybody to go back and, they may pick and choose a few here and there, but to go back and watch, 500 plus videos is, come on. I like to watch the newest, latest. So that was a reminder to me that I need to stay a little more current as new people come, and they may not understand what I'm meaning when I'm saying things. So, yeah. But then none of them came at me in vicious or attack. It was in love. It was in love, and it was from their heart and what's going on within them. So, but yeah, I'm not going to float in a lot of streams because of they will get bored and go away, and they'll leave your stream alone and whatnot. Just that I'm going to stick with a few that I enjoy. And that may not lurk in on you. It just means I probably will not engage in the chat, because it's not worth it. It's not worth it to ruin things for your platform, or to cause drama or disharmony in anything that you're trying to do. Spoil it. spoil it for anybody. Let's see. Frequency could explain. Okay, and learning to stay calm about the enemy helps. Oh yeah, yeah. A lot of the things when they come into our awareness, Mandela Mile is like, um, you know, I go back to the in year 2000 when I started leaving my body and having these dreams and then walking through it and I came into my awareness. Uh, I was freaking out and I went to the doctor and they're like, "Oh, night terrors, take this pill." Okay, these things freak you out because it's not anything that I was ever taught about or nothing. I mean, where I went for spiritual growth and development did not teach on these type of things. So yeah, and a lot of people when they are seeing things change, everything change right in front of their eyes, it could put people into a corner. Like, oh, what's going on? What's going? And if anything, what we want to do is to remove any fear, remove the fear. And by people bringing this forward and talking about such a amazing phenomena brings peace. And especially even here, sharing your experiences, what you've got going on with others. Even they may be just listening, not even wanting just to chat or anything yet. But you could share something that is so synchronistic within them and bring peace to their heart of something that they thought they were alone in, but they could find some similarities in what you are sharing. So it is about removing fear and flowing. And it says the ground is still split. Oh my gosh. Wow. The ground is so split in your garage across the way, and I can sit down and the darkness and the abyss, and you can see down, and it doesn't bother me anymore. Oh my goodness gracious. So not only are you having quakes around your property, but it's split in your garage and you can actually see down into the crevice. Wow. Hopefully you're taking some photographs of that. Do you have a channel, Mandela Mile? Are you sharing this amazing stuff going on? And because I would just love to check that out and try and see from your perspective. And wow, hello, Michael Fontaine. What? Okay. Well, the chat's been pretty informative. It's been quiet, but the things you guys have shared are great. Hopefully this clears the air. I've given opportunity for you guys to call. Hold on. One moment, please. Oh, hold on. Okay, my sound's back on. I took the phone number down. The phone's still open, mind you, but I did take the phone number down, and I just want to do a quick recap. That I'm going to reiterate. I think the Bible is a beautiful book, and it does. It clearly states in the Bible, we can look this up for ourselves, that there will be a famine in the land, not for food and water, but from hearing the word of God. And if people that are sharing freely these expressions, these manifestations, these things that are going on, and at the same time, through our own confusion, we're literally, with our frequency, vibration of our sound, voices, things that we're saying, we're actually stealing the life out of them. We could be coming to a point where people will just become quiet and stop freely sharing such amazing truths about who we are, our true identity. It doesn't take away anybody's identity. If anything, it is a huge equalizer. It is a profound understanding of self-awareness, the expression of everything that you already have going on within you. But one thing that I can give you testimony on is that the more aware we go through the tests will be, can you handle more in your portion, or more information, or more revelation? And with that, there's enhancements. Again, I want to reiterate the parable that was shared to me when I was seeking counsel, and it is not picking apart one religion over another. It was this exact thing was shared with me about these Buddhist monks or teachers, and the students were coming to learn. But then the monks who had gained some mastery then became oppressive and abusive, and they were misusing the very gifts and abilities that they had. Then they were laid low and had to then listen to the students and serve the students. And if we want to look at, that was the one that was given to me when I sought counsel from another, and I thought it was beautiful. It brought into my memory about King Nebuchadnezzar wanting that golden statue built of himself. And he was warned that if he did not humble himself, that he would be laid low. And he did not believe that. So he began to lord over and oppress the very people that he was given some responsibility to take care of, to guide into all truths, or whatever. However you want to read that as a parable, or if you want to read it as it's an actual event that happened. Nebuchadnezzar had the statue built of gold, wanting everyone to bow down and worship it. Okay? He was warned that he'd be laid low. He did not heed the warning. And then, what happened? He had the mind of an animal, and he went out into the wild, acted as a wild animal. And when they were fighting over who was going to take his position as king over that area, he was restored. Mind you, in the Bible it says 7 years. It took him 7 years to learn that lesson of equality and humility. So then he was fully restored, and he came in and again assumed his position as king. These, I see the similarities in what was given to me through counsel and what is in our Bible there plainly for us to read. That humility goes a long way. And how can we be anything but humble when we know we're equals? Whether we're in identity crisis or not, we're equal. But we do need to take care of, and these are things that we know even in identity crisis or ignorance. We do not do things to harm another. We know gossiping, backbiting, and talking behind other people's back, bearing false witness, bringing up things that are not true, causes harm. Did we know to what extent until here lately, as we're walking into this this complete, beautiful understanding of our identity in full? Maybe not. But we know that that is wrong. And when we're doing that, now let's add that layer on there. And that's why even Christ himself said, when he said, I did all of these things, and, and Christ actually was talking about those who look at another woman with lust in their eyes have committed adultery. Because that intention was there. It was a thought that puts out a frequency that affects the others, including their wife. Even if they're gazing upon another woman with lust, although they didn't physically act out on it, they are harming the love of their life. Think that we can't feel what's going on when we have decided to have a partnership to walk this out in a marriage. That when we do such things, that our partner cannot feel this within their essence and their being. This is an understanding that once we get this, we know right and wrong. We know that doing those things are wrong. We should not do them to one another. But now knowing what it actually does to another divine sovereign, oh my God, I'm about to cry because, my goodness gracious, do you want to be held accountable for stealing the life essence away from somebody? I'm watching, with this weirdness, I'm watching people getting thrust into backbiting and talking and doing horrible things, and when their intentions, motives, I'm not going to give you the exact thing I'm looking at right now, but I'm saying the intentions, the motives, and it was all put together, and everything was offered for free, as we do on many platforms, to share this truth about our identity. And they're being robbed because people with their frequency are robbing their essence. Stop. We need to know if we're Christian and we were raised with the Bible. The answers are there. It's in the book. Christ himself, look at his words. If you even think with lust in your eyes, she's going to feel it. Your wife's going to feel it. So when we know and we're told things, even in the darkness, when we're unaware, when you become aware of how we affect one another, you can be responsible for snatching the life out of somebody. Don't think you won't be held accountable for it. But you're going to be your own judge when you leave Earth School. You're going to be the one that's looking at all of the things that you did to another, even in your ignorance. But it's even in our ignorance, it's plainly put out. Do you want to, think about the laws, okay? Let's talk about the laws of any kind. If you look at the laws of any kind, and even just common sense laws, things that our parents teach us about right and wrong, on how to treat people whom we may think are different or anything of that nature, that you don't talk about them behind their back, you do not maliciously attack, you do not hit, harm, or cause malice, you don't gossip. Come on, these are things that we're taught. Even if in our ignorance with the blinders on, we're taught this on a fleshly level. When you get the revelations, as we're all coming into these amazing, profound revelations of the consequences of these things that you're doing, why is it called repentance? When this comes into your awareness of all the harm that you've caused others, because even in your ignorance, stealing life force essence, we're talking about energy vampires and things of that nature. It's a vampiric way of robbing someone of their life force. And when you become aware that you're aware, and you know that that your very frequency, even your thoughts and your heart, harm and can cause harm and disruption in somebody's very life essence and their life force. That's where we need to, first of all, that's where we start repenting on the harm we've caused to other people in our ignorance for not even listening to the handwritten laws or the things that our parents taught us of right and wrong. We know right and wrong, so we are not going to sit there and act like we don't. We know when we're doing something wrong. We know. Anybody that has ever gossiped about somebody else behind their back, talked maliciously, or bared false witness, made up stories or fables about another, casting judgments without knowing 100% about that person. We know that's wrong. And in our ignorance and in the blindness and in the darkness, we know that's wrong. When you become aware of it, yeah, you go into repentance, all right, for every idle word that you said that was false about somebody else. You also become aware of what you have taken from them. And you want to then, first of all, everything gets forgiven. So don't think there's anything that we can do that cannot be forgiven. But are we seeking the forgiveness? Once we seek the forgiveness, that whoever we harmed is then restored for whatever we have stolen from them. And then it's then cast in the sea of forget. It's gone. It's in our Bibles too. Think on these things, guys. Think on them. These are not things that even somebody who's completely asleep does not know. But now with the understanding of the ramifications of what you're doing to that person, knowing what you're doing, are you going to continue? Are you going to continue trying to rob somebody of their life force? One good thing that I do have to say is that more people that are coming into this profound awareness, we restore each other. So anything that has been stolen, robbed, or taken away from anyone, we restore one another. So we restore that beautiful essence that was robbed or taken falsely from another. And I do believe that's why this beautiful person called me to the carpet on why am I trying to deal with this alone and not allowing for the very people that know their identity, know to restore and help just even by being there for me, not taking sides, but help to restore and strengthen me up as I'm, going through what we call it spiritual warfare. By goodness gracious, it is a spiritual warfare. But it's not what we think, you guys. The spiritual warfare is from ignorance. The things that we do in ignorance that we know are wrong. But we do them, and what it actually does to that other that you have targeted, it is spiritual warfare. Because that is on the spiritual level. So don't try to come on, to take a spoil from anyone. And we're coming to a period of time which is so beautiful and so profound that everybody's awareness is, we're seeing through, it's transcending. We're able to see straight down to the heart. And we can see anything that is between here, there, and in between on the intentions. And that's why I am here to say that I know when it is when I am emotionally upset, I should have held off. I should have, because I was emotionally invested, and that may have been where some of the things that I was saying came out. With the some are hearing Laurel, some are hearing Yanni. So I hope this clears it up, and I'll just wait and hear from whoever is going to reach out and respond on. on what actions to take. If I still need to take that live stream down in order to remove any kind of discord or any confusion, then that's the direction we'll go. But then the video, the follow-up video, the affirmation video is going to have to come down too. So, because it won't make any sense to do an affirmation video of a live stream we discussed and then to come across the information. I talk about, we are going through things, we're experiencing things, and then in like TikTok time, the manifestation of an affirmation is like, boom, there it is. And it was so fascinating to me on how quickly I did one search, and it was the first one that popped up, and it completely talked about everything that stream was meant to be about, which is our connection, the connection to God, Creator, Jesus, higher self, whatever, lose the label, doesn't matter. But that was what the stream was supposed to be about that oil that's secreted from the base of our brain, goes down our back, shoots back up. And then I found that affirmation of confirmation of information and I put the source in there for you to not only go check it out for yourself, but to go on from there. Go on. If you're interested in it, explore, expand. All I can do is present. And then what you do with the information is completely up to you. Up to you. And so with that, I hope that this clears things up. I'm a little sad that nobody called to address these things openly. Although I would not have given away who you are, because I was amazed at the different things that were being brought up. I was like, oh my goodness, it sounded like that. Oh my goodness, I was like, oh my gosh, wow, so. Number one, I will make sure that I have done whatever cleansing, clearing that I do prior to coming on live to shed out and remove any personal attachments that I have. And so I've learned that. And number two, I need to, again, take my own advice about remembering our beginnings and bring up when I talk about, walking away from situations or letting go of things that no longer serve, that I'm clear on what those terminologies mean. It's not about people. It's about old knowledge and things of that nature. Just new people come in, in and out all the time. In and out all the time. So, and some of them, this stuff is a common term. It may sound a little repetitive. Maybe I'll do a refresher maybe once a month on some terms that I use here, and that may be enough. But with that, you guys, I love you. I want nothing but the best, highest good for everybody. On my next stream or my next video, I'm going to again, as I do, I'm going to shine the light on some awesome channels and some awesome information, and that's always to use your own discernment. It's always to you can either check them out or not. It's just suggestions to broaden your scope. But on this one, I really didn't want to focus in or zoom in on any platforms. And know this, please know this. I don't even bring up a channel name unless I have something good to say. That stream is an isolated incident. Isolated. And it was truly because if I'm going to give you guys my testimony, it's not fair for me to rate what I give and what I don't. It's either I give it all or I don't give any. And that was a learning experience for myself. But that's an isolated incident. I don't do that. I do not. It's not in me. I only want to talk about or lead or expand upon places that from my perspective, would have the highest good, or someplace where you can glean, grow, or things of that nature. Those are the channels that I highlight. That's what I talk about. Those are the channels that I will reference, because I know, there's so many in different things, different times, different places, that will need from different places, different things, of who is putting out which information at what time. We're constantly in motion. We're flowing. I could explain, we're those diamonds with multiple facets when that light hits. Pew! Know you not that you are already this? Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Okay. Until next time, guys. Think about the Sedona, the gathering there. When we shore up the dates, I will affirm we'll try and get a head count, get those get some kind of a discount rate in place. But be warned, some off the charts. You think you are dealing with things in your personal life that are paradigm shifting? Get a group of us together. It's mind-boggling what we will see, what we will experience, what we will be able to capture, film, and share with one another. Naturally supernatural. You guys, until next time, always share what you know and listen so we can grow. We love you guys. Have yourself a wonderful rest of your evening, and peace. I'll talk to you soon.